What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Big Dog Brett. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. Send it to your mama and them. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a wonderful Wednesday night. We are just a few days away from the college football playoffs. Let's go ahead and get some shout outs to the chat here. Appreciate you guys. Let me clean up some of these banners. There we go. Okay. D4 Sports, how you doing, sir? Nate the Great. Welcome back. RJ all day. Wonderful. Glad to have you, sir. D Brown 2020. Thank you for being here. Sarah, as one of our regulars. How you doing, Miss Sarah? Hope you're doing well tonight. Bobby Stream and Tech, how's it going? Husker Gray, Pastor Dave, one of our resident members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, sir, especially in these trying times. Eric Wallace, yes, Pizza Woman. Yep. Shabazz Owl, what's going on? Oh yeah, LSU fan, how you doing, sir? Lizard Circus, Neo. Just watched The Matrix again last night with my daughter. Great movie. Appreciate you. Appreciate your performance there, Mr. Neo. Thanks so much. Bobby Sprinkle, just wanted to tell you hello as well. Play some Adele. No, can't play Adele. That's copyrighted, and it can cause problems. Michael Hogue, how you doing, sir? Yes, sir. Glad to see you. Appreciate it. Ram Dog, how's it going? All right, so I got some bronchitis. Watch out for that now. You take your vitamins. Hope you get feeling better. So right now, in case you guys don't know, it's into the first quarter. Oklahoma is winning over Oregon 6-0. Apparently they got a field goal. They missed the PAT or tried for 2 or something. I don't know what happened, but they only got 6 points. So yeah, right now the probability is OU is going to win this game. 71% probability at this point. Is the new Matrix going to be worth me going to see it? Yes, absolutely. Keanu Reeves. It would not let that movie be bad. It's kind of like one of his greatest movies of all time. So yeah, yeah. Why am I not in Miami for the game? Because I have 4 kids and lots of bills to pay. Derek, what is your take on the Olav, and Wilson sitting out? Derek Stevens. Oh, Ohio. Yeah. Not worried about Ohio State tonight, guys. Lots to talk about. We're going to get into it all. Today is a good opportunity to hit the subscribe button if this is your first time at the channel. If you are not subscribed, but you watch on a regular basis, please hit the subscribe button. Obviously, if you've watched more than one of my videos, they're worth watching to you. About 70% of the people that watch my videos are currently not subscribed. We're trying to get to 5,000 by the end of the season, which is rapidly approaching. We've got like 12 days left before the season's over, and we need about 300 subscribers, which should be pretty easy to do considering how many viewers we actually have out there total. So if you guys would hit the subscribe button, it would be much appreciated. Crimson Brave says, I just hope Stetson has fun out there, man. Boy, the biggest Stetson Bennett fans in the world are Alabama fans, let me tell you. Oh, man. Woo, fighting a little bit of a cold, but we're going to get through it. So here's what it is. All right. Still not much going on with this game. I guess they did come out and say that Stetson is going to be the starter. Which, we kind of all expected that, and you should have expected that as well. Primary goal for tonight's show is, since we've already talked about I already put out a video about an hour long, seems like, even though it was like 20 minutes, over the Michigan game. If you guys have any questions, you can fire away. I'm going to do my best. We're not going to have a super long show tonight just because I am feeling under the weather. I know my voice is probably going to give out at some point, and I need to get some rest. But yeah, so there's that. Andrew K., how you doing, sir? Highlight of my day was watching the Cheez-It Bowl. It was a good day to watch football, if you could watch football. I wasn't afforded that opportunity. I had a lot of other stuff going on today. So yeah. Clemson barely beats ISU 13-20. I really thought they would have done better than that. I really did. So that's passing was not too bad. Passing actually was pretty good for Clemson. Just short averages, 5.8 yards a toss. It's kind of meh. Clemson only rushed for 128 yards, average 3.2 a carry. Meh. Receiving 187 yards, average 8.9 a carry. Meh. No fumbles in the whole game. 1 interception on each team. Like 1 kick return for 17 yards, no kick returns for Clemson, 2 punts for -1 yard return. That's terrible. No punts for Iowa. No punts. They go for it on 4th down every time. What in the world? 5 punts. Okay, 5 and 4. I misread. Okay, that was the return yards on punts. The SEC, it means 0 and 4. Yeah. Brett, what's your take about the SEC being 0 and 4 with 2 of the losses coming from a group of 5 teams? I think part of this is to be expected, and that is because these games. Now, hold on. Before we start on this path, let me go ahead and jump in here and say that if you want my opinion, and I'm not saying you specifically, whoever asked the question, I'm not saying you specifically, but if you're asking the question, don't come at me with the I'm making excuses, because it's my opinion. It's not a fact. It's my opinion. If you're asking me why I think that some of these games are going the other way, I think that with the way that the current bowl system is set up, a lot of these games really don't mean much. So these players aren't putting in 100%. What if you're a 6-7 team, or a 7-6 team, or an 8-5 team? What's one more bowl win, or what's one more loss? I'll have to try that vodka drinker. I'm not saying that they don't care. I just don't think the effort and the emphasis is really put into winning these games anymore. They just don't mean what they used to. And I think the names of these bowls has gotten completely out of hand. I think it's ridiculous. How can a player walk around and cheer and say, "We won the Cheez-It Bowl"? Oh, my Lord. I mean, Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl, Citrus Bowl, Peach Bowl, all those, Alamo Bowl, all those, have some kind of ring to them. Rose Bowl. Some of these names you can't even pronounce, man. Like, I don't blame these players for not really caring whether or not they play in these games. They should, but how are you going to convince them that this game you're going to get up for it? I just don't think that's the case. Try Hennessy and Peach Red Bull. Woof. Boy, y'all brutal out here, man. Woo. Bowl games are just participation trophies. I think that's how a lot of players view them, especially your top tier players. That's why so many of them sit out. If you got top tier players that are willing to sit out, then you're obviously going to have players that they're not going to put in 110% effort to play against Houston or to play against SMU or whomever you're playing. And it wouldn't surprise me if these coaches are telling them, "Hey, don't go out there and hurt yourself. We got another season. You're going to be back next year. Don't get crazy." Clemson had no opt-outs. I will say hats off to them for that. But what's going on TikTok? What's going on Tiger Raven? What's up, Brian W? Peanut Roll Tide? What's up? We are simulcasting right now on the Voice of College Football SEC and the Voice of College Football Georgia channels. If you guys want to subscribe to those channels, please feel free to do so. And go out there and look for Mark Rogers TV. Search for that on YouTube, and you'll be able to find it. Go ahead and subscribe to those channels. Also a great place to find, I will say, almost insider information on whichever team you're playing. There's a lot of great content creators out there for the other teams out there, like Michigan. You can find stuff on their channel where their guys talk about what their expectations are of the game. We did a show with Mark Rogers the other night. On one of those was broadcast on the Michigan channel. And let me tell you, the Michigan fans, they are fired up. And we had some fun kind of poking them guys with a sharp stick, getting them kind of riled up. It was a lot of fun. So I really appreciate those guys over there. And a few people ended up subscribing to the channel that are Michigan fans from there. So I really enjoyed it. All right, guys. I don't blame any Ohio State player if they sit out for the Utah game at all. All right, so I'm going to give you my opinion on bowl game sit-outs. I am not a fan. I am not a fan of sitting out a bowl game. I don't care if it is the lowest bowl they have. If the team that you play for was good enough for you to play the first game of the season, it should be good enough to play the last game of the season. I understand why some of these players do it, especially if they're planning on going pro. I understand why they do it. It doesn't mean I agree with it. So whenever you see a player sit out, I really think that he is shortchanging the rest of the team, the guys that have put in the hard work and sweat, their families, the coaching staff, the fans. And I will say that I feel like it's a selfish reason. Now, I don't for 1 second necessarily blame them, because if you're a guy who's looking at making potentially millions of dollars, it doesn't make sense to risk yourself getting a career-ending injury in the whatever bowl. I get it, but I disagree with it. So that's me. What's up, Michael Porter? Another one of our resident members, sir. Thank you. I woke up feeling the cheesiest, coach. That's the comment of the night from Jordan Bowman right there, man. So far, that is the comment of the night. He's a big resident Clemson fan. I really appreciate having him around. He's hilarious. So just so you know, Jordan, from now on, man, you're going to be the cheesiest. You are the cheesiest, sir. Whew. Hey, D4, how are you doing tonight? Michael's talking to you, D4. What's going on, Bill Bonnie? He says, roll tide as always. I've got an eyelash or something in my eye, and it's driving me up a wall. I apologize, guys. You can hear my voice starting to go already. Whew. P Digit says, Finkel is Einhorn. Hey, by the way, if you guys are one of the resident members and you guys watch my channel on a regular basis, jump down in the comment section and get after some of these Alabama fans and get after some of these Michigan fans, man. I can't do it. I can't have all the fun to myself. Brett, then you can play touch football rules like they do in Pac-12 and bowl games. Did I miss the first part? What's the number of players that have had career-ending injuries in bowl games since the start of bowl games? I don't know, but it's still a risk. Poverty UGA. I think you're ripping on Uncle Lou right there. Hanging in there while fighting bronchitis. Woo. I love arguing with Michigan fans. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, man. There it is, 1980. I knew that was coming. Billy Bonnie says, Brett is the only Georgia fan I like. Boy, we got to do some work on our fan base. Most of the Georgia fans I met have been real nice. I don't know what you guys are doing to make them so upset. I will say that is one of my favorite compliments to get, is that I'm like the only Georgia fan that you guys like. I wish it wasn't that way. I would like to see the bowl sponsors pay players $1,000 for playing in the bowl games. You got to be careful with that because that creates such a weird environment. Well, Lou did start the poverty thing. I mean, Lou is great at what he does. He comes up with things to get people to talk about him and to talk about the games, to talk about the players, and I mean, people hang on to it. So, I mean, what he does is brilliant. You can't knock him. Do you wear contacts? And if so, I hope that eyelash doesn't get in between them. No, I can't wear contacts. I tried one time, and I was pretty miserable. I couldn't even get past 15 minutes with them. I had to come out. Lou is nice when he's objective. I think Lou is one of those guys that it's extremely difficult to catch him off his game, and you got to hand it to him. He's a Georgia fan through and through. You know, he's always going to pull for Georgia. He's not a fair weather fan. He's a guy who's going to look at the team, and if they're screwing up, he's going to call them. If they're doing stupid things, he's going to call it out. He doesn't make excuses for Georgia. Even though sometimes that's what, TikTok, you better not say anything because you got enough problems, man. Uncle Lou is just, as far as having an argument or an exchange with him, TikTok, you guys are not on level ground. He has experience dealing with thousands and thousands of trolls, and you've probably dealt with a couple of hundred. He does it on a regular basis, so he's pretty witty when it comes to that stuff. So I wouldn't want to get in an exchange with him. And I consider myself to be somewhat witty and quick-witted. And I think Lou is pretty much the what they call it, the summit of quick-wittedness. He's quick. TikTok says, I promise I won't. I got too much respect for you, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Vodka drinker, I don't know, dude. I mean, the thing is that whatever Lou gets engaged in, even if he's wrong, he's still right. And it's because he knows what he's talking about. And he's not going to put himself in a compromising position. I already put $1,000 bet on Georgia. I hope my wife doesn't see that bill. Well, she won't as long as we win. You'd be good. Oklahoma just made a touchdown. I don't believe that. That's fake news. Oregon got a field goal apparently. Yeah. Shane 1178 says Lou doesn't always know what he's talking about. He usually does, man. I haven't really seen anything where he puts himself out there in blind space. Michigan doesn't have a bad offense, but my Buckeyes just have a bad defense. That may be true. But they've had some games where they've scored some points. So, I mean, it's really hard to say. I think what's really going to have to happen is that this is what I think is going to happen. You know, I made the video talking about the whole game, which is great. But Bama, be careful. You'll get put in timeout around here for those kind of statements, man. I'm just letting you know. As far as the Michigan game, I think Michigan is not going to try to just run over Georgia. I think that they know that that's probably a recipe for disaster. I think that they're going to try and abuse Georgia's secondary. I don't know if they have a quarterback who's good enough to do it, but I think that might be the game plan, is run enough to be able to throw it enough to try and win the game. I think Georgia will probably push Michigan around a good bit. We'll just have to see what happens. Brian W. says, you on 3 different channels? Yes, sir. I'm on 3 different channels. Yeah, you did hear a cat. We have 2 cats. And that one just went past me going that way, and in a few minutes he'll go back that way. Pastor Dave says Stetson will come back. Where else? Where else is he going to go? I don't know, sir. I don't know. But every time you talk bad about Stetson, boy, people start unsubscribing like it's, like it's a professional job. What's going on, Keith Shelley? It's been a long day. It's been a long day already. Pickens will have 3 touchdowns and 150 yards. He may have 150 yards on 3 passes. I don't know much about how well they're going to be able to deal with George Pickens, because I haven't seen enough of George Pickens actually being back and at full power to be able to determine whether or not he is going to be the biggest factor in the game. Stetson, the best quarterback at UGA. Matthew, you must be a Alabama fan. Just in case you didn't see it, Brad, I like quite a few Georgia fans in this community. I didn't. Yeah. I agree with you, Shane. Their offense is not. There's nobody that's going to make me believe that McNamara is anywhere near as good as Bryce Young. If he was, he'd be a Heisman Trophy candidate. He certainly wasn't that. He certainly wasn't a Heisman Trophy winner. We'll see what happens. Y'all win 30-20. Michigan ain't seen SEC speed. They got some players on that team, but I don't know if they have enough to be able to beat Georgia the way they think they're going to beat Georgia. I was trying to bring up in the show that I did with Mark Rogers that the Michigan game, the Michigan fan base playing or having to travel to Miami is much different than Georgia having to travel to Miami. Number one, it's a lot closer and a lot cheaper for Georgia fans. And no matter how you say it, it comes off as like you're bragging or, nonsensical, but Georgia travels better than any team I've ever seen. And I mean, that's from years and years of watching college football. Bama fans travel pretty good. Georgia fans travel exceptionally well. Michigan wants to do the same thing to Georgia as Georgia wants to do to Michigan. Problem is Georgia is much bigger and more talented. That may be true. They've got some size on their offensive line's got some size, but I don't think they're going to be able to really stop Jordan Davis the way they think they're going to. Somebody was making fun saying that Jordan Davis was fat and slow. And I was like, you realize Jordan Davis runs at nearly 20 miles an hour, right? And they're like, ha, 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 laughing out loud, 20 mile an hour, whatever. And I'm like, you can Google it. Take you half a second. The man's been clocked at 19.8 miles per hour. And he's well over 300 pounds. He's not fat and sloppy. He is an absolute dominant force. Oh yeah, absolutely, Crimson Brave. If the Dogs lose, I mean, Lou's gonna have to basically just throw his hands up and just be like, yeah, well, it is what it is, Michigan cold, little to no humidity. Florida loads of humidity and way hotter. I agree. I think that's going to play a big factor. I wouldn't be surprised if they have oxygen bottles for Michigan players down there because of the humidity. It is 20 miles an hour 5 times a game. That's all it takes. I like how we are talking, but we all know Bama will win it all again. I don't know, Billy. I mean, I'm not trying to say that Alabama can't, but I got to tell you, it depends on which Alabama team you get. I mean, one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight was the Alabama Cincinnati game. If Georgia wins, then Alabama wins the national championship. Well, if Georgia loses, how would Alabama still not win? Because if Michigan and Georgia are so similar, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, a lot of people thought that Bama wasn't supposed to be here as a rebuild year. And if Tank Bixby just would have went down in bounds, y'all probably wouldn't be here. So there's that. I pull for Bama, and I think we're going to get Bearcats best. I think you're going to get Bearcats best too. I'm going to tell you, we played them last year. Michigan's O-line is pretty good. We played them last year. Michigan is smarter. I don't know if you meant to type that way or if that was a typo, but it fits either way. Georgia basketball losing to something called Garner. The basketball, I've never been a basketball fan. Well, I'll tell you that back. I've never been a college basketball fan. I was a fan of the Bulls back in the day when everybody was a fan of the Bulls because Michael Jordan was so incredible. Michigan is heavier due to metals in the water. Oh my goodness. 96% of UM football players graduate. If you actually look it up, I think the stats are somewhere along the lines of, I think Georgia average GPA is 4.0, and I think Michigan's is like 3.83. Michigan has 9.9 million people. Georgia has like 10.9 million people. Both states have a median income of about 50 to 55,000. So the demographics, as far as those things, are pretty similar. Georgia has a 59% graduation rate for players. That may be true. I don't know, but I would also go ahead and tell you that Georgia puts more players in the NFL without probably. I would probably stand on that fact without having to look it up, but somebody go check it for me real quick. But I'm going to go ahead and say I'm pretty sure Georgia puts more players in the NFL. So when you put more players in the NFL, not all of them are going to finish that degree. Michigan has nasty water, especially Flint, Michigan. They can have smarter students as long as dogs win. I don't care who has the smarter students. I really don't. If you care about smarter students, go to Yale or Harvard or Princeton and don't worry about football. Worry about football. Now, we lost, but we're smarter people. Yeah, okay. Whatever works, man. Big Ten versus SEC in big-time games. We have seen this before. One of the things I will go back, Georgia has a huge recruiting advantage. I can pull those numbers for you right now. I already have those numbers up. In the last 4 years, Michigan has recruited 3 5-stars, and they have recruited 47 4-stars. Georgia has recruited 20 5-stars and 56 4-stars. So the recruiting advantage, definitely Georgia. That always leads somebody to saying that Georgia does more or does less with more talent and things like that. Well, the players that keep coming to Georgia don't feel that way because a lot of them end up in the NFL. Stupid players are easier to recruit. Okay. I rooted for Cincinnati because everyone loves an underdog. And the best conference is clearly the SEC. The SEC has put like 356 players in the NFL. The next closest one is 330. I think it's like 336 or something. And the next closest one is the Big Ten at like 250 something. And I think after that, it's the Big 12 at like 200. And then I don't know if it's the Pac-12 or ACC after that, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you that I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati does come out and shock Alabama. Michigan's offensive line won the award as the nation's best line. Just watched my local high school team beat the 17th ranked team in the nation in the Arby's Classic. The Big Ten is the best conference this year. That has yet to be determined, sir. I would probably say that based on the fact that 2 of the teams in the college football playoff come from the SEC, even if neither one of them win the national championship, the fact that 2 teams can make it would seem to insinuate that the best conference was probably the SEC. Stetson Bennett versus Michigan. Is there a Heisman winner yet? What are you talking about, Derek? I'm confused. One Bama, 2 Ohio State, 3 LSU, 4 Florida, 5 Michigan, 6 Georgia players on NFL rosters this year. Breakthrough made in the USA. Here's one of our resident trolls. Same comment he posted the other night. Because Michigan's overrated. Mortgage your home. Cash in your life insurance. Take an early inheritance from your grandma. Sell everything you own and bet heavy on Georgia. Nah. Wouldn't do all that, sir. It's just football. Yeah, nobody rooting harder for Cincinnati than Georgia fans, boy. How is it that the Cincinnati Bearcats is the best team in Ohio? Somebody explain that to me. .315 yards passing, 24 for 40 and 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Well, yeah. Talking about the Cincinnati-Alabama game, obviously Cincinnati is a good football team. They're undefeated this year. They were undefeated last year until they met Georgia. As a Georgia fan, I want Alabama to win. Okay. Michigan UGA would be a close game. You think Michigan's going to hold Georgia to 16 points? If Georgia loses Friday, boy might be out of the door with the dogs. Nah, he ain't going nowhere. I'll tell you that right now. He's not going nowhere. Why would you dare kick out a coach that's put you in a national championship game, even if you lost, and he's put you back in the college football playoff again in just a few years? No, there's only a handful of teams that's ever even been to the college football playoff. Never mind the ones that's been there twice. I think it's less than 10. I think it's like 8 teams have been there twice. Bearcats or not, if Ohio State played them tomorrow, Bearcats would lose. We'll see. I mean, don't know yet. Yeah, I'm people keep discounting Cincinnati, and they keep telling them that Cincinnati's not that good of a team. Cincinnati has 2 probably NFL cornerbacks on that team, and the fact that they lost Mechie which leaves them with just Jameson Williams. They are getting Brian Robinson back. I mean, that's really where they tore Georgia up, was in the secondary. They didn't really run the ball that great against Georgia. They ran the ball fair, but they didn't run it great. I don't know that I would trust Brian Robinson to be fully healed and be able to carry that game on his back, having just been, still recovering. So it's kind of a tough injury. He will be good, but it's very possible he could re-injure that he could get re-injured. But to just completely discount Cincinnati's secondary is not necessarily something I would be willing to do. I honestly believe that Cincinnati's secondary is better than Georgia's. And that's what cost Georgia the game. Ohio State's the best team in Columbus. That's hilarious. To hell with Cincinnati people. Been discounting Michigan. It's Bama in a blowout. Georgia's the underdogs to win it all. Georgia's the underdog to win it all? Is that what you're saying? I don't think that's the case. Let me see if I can find it. So what came out 3 days ago? I can find it. Alabama's the favorite, followed by Georgia. So 120 to Alabama, 150 to Georgia, and then 550 to Michigan, and then 1,100 to Cincinnati. So, no, I wouldn't say the underdogs. Underdogs would be like Cincinnati. Can Cincinnati consistently get pressure rushing 3? I don't know that they'll rush 3. They may rush 4. Great to see small-time guys beat up big-time commitments. Yeah, it is. Georgia fan, is y'all nervous? I'm not nervous. It's a football game, and we're going to go out there. We got a good football team. We got good players, and these guys are hyped up for this game. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I wouldn't want to play Alabama after a loss, and I wouldn't want to play Georgia after a loss. That's 2 teams you don't want to play after a loss. I would probably say Ohio State's another one, and I would say Michigan's another one. Yeah, they mad right now. For sure, they are mad. Booty Sniper says so many trolls. Oh, that's fine, dude. They'll disappear soon enough. Tribe 11U baseball vids fall 2021. Chattanooga, Tennessee, relocated from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, circa 1987. That's his full screen name because the one he has isn't long enough. It says Choke. If Michigan was smart, they'd cook a big vat of macaroni and cheese on the sidelines with a fan to blood at Jamari Sawyer's direction to distraction. That's our only chance. That's pretty good. Bama and Georgia will win by a combined 30 points. That's possible. Going to fold like a cheap suit. That's also possible. Cincinnati gets pressured young, will make critical mistakes. That's really where Georgia struggled. Georgia can get pressure on the quarterback, and they've shown previously where if you can get pressure on the quarterback for Alabama, it makes it a lot harder on them. Of course, that's true for every team. So there's that. Who's going to the NFL from Georgia besides Davis? I don't know. I really haven't looked that far into it. I've just been kind of focused on this game right here. All right, guys, do me a favor. If you've been here this long, hit the like, subscribe, and thumbs up button. Really appreciate you guys. Stetson wouldn't practice with the team this week, so they found him a new team to practice. Sent you a clip. What? Brett, why would you be reading these 10-year-old comments? They don't even know how to describe what's cover 2. And everybody's got to learn, man. 1980, Dogs won a natty game, and with one pass from Buck Bellew. Yep. You will see some of young wide receivers step up Friday. Yeah. Press the like button, you demons. I like that. That's clever. I like that, Pizza Woman. Oh, you sent me something at email? I'll have to check it, man. I'll have to check it. Could go in the NFL for sure. Probably. He's a heck of a player. Does SEC bowl record give you cause for concern? No, it doesn't, because Georgia's none of those teams. I think all but like 4 teams in the SEC made a bowl game. So, and again, in this bowl season, a lot of these guys just check out. They may play in the game, but they'll check out emotionally. Excuse me, sorry. An Alabama versus Georgia rematch is inedible unless Stetson throws some pick sixes. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that they're not going to try and have him continue to pass the ball deep like that. That's where he makes his mistakes, man. Is when anytime he tries to throw 15 to 20 yards, it's either underthrown, thrown behind a crossing route, or it's an interception. He'll make a pass every now and then, but his deep ball is not great. Stetson 300 plus yards in passing and 1,200 yards receivers. 2 100-yard receivers. Yeah, right, Barry. I'm Bama. Love your channel. Appreciate that, Richie. Thank you. D. Brown, you mean the 3 teams without a single complete starting roster? Oh no, the second and third worst teams in the SEC lost to the second best team in the conference. Yeah, right. Seriously, some of this trolling is weak AF. Hey, listen. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what's going to happen. If Georgia wins this game, all of these, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 Michigan fans, will disappear. You will never hear from them again. They won't stay subscribed to the channel. But if Georgia loses, oh my goodness, folks will come into the comment section commenting, "I told you we were going to win," and I'll go back and search their name. And they will never have, by the way, they will never have commented on any show, any video. So just so you guys know, as a YouTube content creator, you have the ability to go into your analytics, and you can pick a person's name and you can see every video they've ever commented on. And so when I see people that comment, told you Nebraska was going to beat SMU. You never told me that, because I look at all your comments, right? Did you have a different profile you set it on? Because it's not this one. Bill Bonnie says Michigan 28, Georgia 23, Bama 49, Cincinnati 16. I'm a little bit hesitant to jump on the Alabama train right now with that kind of enthusiasm. Do I think Alabama can win this game? Yes. But I think people are, what's up, Rack Dog? I think people are discounting Cincinnati a little too much, and I may be wrong, but I think people are discounting Cincinnati a little bit too much because they're not a Power 5 team. They gave Georgia everything Georgia could handle last year. Everything Georgia could handle. Georgia ended up winning that game at the very end with a field goal. Now, on the follow-up drive, right after we kicked off to them, we did get a safety, so the score looked like it was 24-21. But we went ahead. It was 22-21 at the end of the game, really. And then Georgia got the safety and kind of capped it off. But my thought is that Georgia, everybody thought Georgia was going to blow out Cincinnati last year. It's the same quarterback. It's Derek Ritter. Guy is a good quarterback, and he's gotten better. Let me pull up Cincinnati real quick. Let me pull this up for you guys. Let me go to rankings. Standings, no. College football playoff, here we go. That's not what I want. Standings. Cincinnati, okay. All right, Desmond Ritter, not Derek Ritter. My apologies, sir. I said your name wrong. For anybody who hasn't looked him up, does anybody want to take a guess on how many yards? If you know the answer because you've looked up the stat, don't say it. But if you're somebody who hasn't looked this guy up, how many passing yards do you think he has this year? And then tell me how many rushing yards you think he has this year. I'll go ahead and tell you guys. Let me see. Where's it at? You said 15. No. Desmond Ritter is right at 3,200 passing yards. He's at 66% completion percentage. He has 30 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and that's with him being sacked 20 times. He also has, and this is with him being sacked, this is counting his sack yardage. He's 371 yards still to the positive, almost 400 yards rushing. I mean, the guy can play. They have a 1,200-yard rusher, almost 1,250, in Jerome Ford, who's the Cincinnati player who is telling everybody to stop calling him the former Alabama player. He's a Bearcat. Well, sorry, sir. People are going to bring that up when you're playing Alabama. I hate to say about that. They have their top receiver, Alec Pierce, as at 860-something yards receiving. And he's got 2 more guys. One's almost at 500, another one at 400. Their tight ends at 320 yards. They got another wide receiver at 300, another tight end at 275. He spreads the ball around. And he doesn't have to leave it in one place. He has multiple weapons to throw to. This is a well-coached team. Cincinnati really didn't play anyone until Notre Dame. That's true. Good thing Bama's defense is ready. We'll see. I'm with you that Cincinnati isn't being respected, but the same Cincinnati that struggled against Navy, Tulane, etc. Bama is in the postseason is a different animal. And to be fair, UGA was in 2017. Even if Bama is different, you've got to acknowledge the fact that Alabama had some very questionable games. They realistically should be down 2 games right now. They shouldn't even be in the college football playoff. And what I mean by that is not that I don't want Alabama here. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if Tank Bigsby would have just went down, they'd have ran out the clock. And that would have been the end of the game. That would be 2-loss Alabama. Even with an SEC win, championship win, they're not getting in. So Bama players playing video games. Double up, triple up. You can't cover Williams. What's up, Barry Watkins? Thank you for being here, sir. Bama plus 20. And see, here's the other thing is like everybody is immediately discounting Cincinnati and they're immediately bolstering Alabama. Georgia shouldn't be in. They didn't even win their conference. Well, if this was the first time that would happen, I would agree. But this is not the first time that's happened. Alabama did it a few years back and they ended up winning a national championship. So if the theory behind having a college football playoff is to get the best teams in there and the best teams win the national championship, then that is a prime example of how that and why that matters. You shouldn't have to win you shouldn't have to win a conference championship in order to prove that you're the best team out there. You can have a bad game and you can still be the best team. Being the best team doesn't mean you're undefeated. There's numerous national champions that have only lost 1 game. Where does Bama get these Heisman quarterbacks from? Same place Georgia gets them apparently, but they actually play them. So there's that. Losing to Alabama compared to Michigan State, and this man wants to think it's the same. Green Soldier and trolling everybody. 12-1 SEC champs. Everyone else expected Bama to beat every team by 30. A close win is still a win. Yeah. But if one of the things that I'm looking at here, let me find it. So Alabama, their schedule, they lost to Florida, they beat Florida by 2 points. That's not the Bama that we know and love from years past. It's not. Losing to Texas A&M by 3 points, that's not the Bama we know and love from years past. Beating LSU by only 6 points, not the team we know and love from the past. Beating Arkansas by 7 points, not the team we know and love from the past. And beating Auburn by 2 points, not the team we have seen traditionally in the past. So if you're going to jump up and down and tell me that Alabama is going to absolutely curb stomp Cincinnati, I'd say you're crazy. If you told me tomorrow that that Cincinnati was going to play Auburn, which team would I pick? I would pick Cincinnati because I think Cincinnati's a better team than Auburn. But then you got to look at the fact that Auburn and Alabama were tied at 10 points at the end of regulation. At 10 points. Auburn's defense is not that good. And you can't say that that's the only bad game they had. Oh, they beat us down. There's no doubt about that, Groom, but that doesn't change the fact of what happened in the other games. Absolutely. You can destroy Georgia by 50 points in that game. It still would not change the fact that you only scored 10 points against Auburn in the Auburn game. That you only beat Florida by 2 points. That doesn't change. My point is, let me finish, Richie. Let me finish. Let me bring it full circle for you so you back yourself up. If that had only happened one time this season, I'd say, okay, off game. But that happened like 4 times this season, and they lost a game. That's not the same dominant performance that we've seen Alabama in years past. It's just not. That's a statistical fact. I can show that to you on paper. Now, what that means is that if either they're not motivated in the games that they should be motivated in, or they're not as good as they have been in years past, or both. One of those 3 things is absolutely true. One of those 3 things is true. You can pick which one. I don't care. But if any one of those happens in that Cincinnati game, they can still lose. What about a 12-0 season with the best defense in the country, then lost to Bama in the SEC champion? I don't disagree, Sarah. I don't disagree. I'm saying teams can have bad games. Teams can have great games, and both of those can happen at the same time. Is it possible that Georgia had a bad game? Yeah, that's possible. Is it possible that Alabama had a great game? Yeah, that's possible. The fact that we saw players that, I think it was like 7 different busts in our secondary, where Mechie was on an island by himself, completely by himself, nobody around him for 10 yards. That's not the way Georgia's been playing all year. Georgia had a terrible game. Georgia didn't get a single sack, not a single sack on Bryce Young in that game. It didn't happen. But the week before, they got sacked 6 times. Even though Georgia was killing everybody. You think that Georgia just isn't that good all of a sudden? Or is it possible that Georgia had a bad game? CVC Tyrese. I hope that's how I said your name. You made a video after my prediction to the SEC championship game. Let's see here. Let's do this then. Which I see stuff from like 4 years ago and 5 years ago. Let me see if I can find your stuff, Tyrese. The most recent thing I see on your channel, sir, is 10 months ago, and it was Right My Wrongs. I don't see the new one, sir. Georgia's defense is the only one this season that didn't get a sack against Alabama. That is correct. Just send it to my email address, or send it to my Twitter. Those are both on the screen. Pickens and Bauer both get 100 yards. You guys here, I'll type my email address in the chat if you want to send me a. There you go. Now you can send me an email. You guys want to, you can join the channel. You become a member. You can use Super Chat. You can do PayPal. You can do whatever you want to do if you want to support the channel. I spend a lot of time working on a lot of videos and stuff for you guys. Really appreciate those of you that do support the channel and keep it going. That Ohio State has bad defense. Most of our opponents, we gave up 21 points or higher. I don't think that Pickens is going to be playing much Friday. Pickens is going to be back next year. I don't think he can go pro right now with having a unverified roster of ability. Big O, you think Darnell Washington it's gonna be the ace of the sleeve? We'll see. Brock Bowers will end the season with 1,000 yards. That's a bold statement, my friend. It's a bold statement. Bold statement. Because last time I checked, Brock Bowers is 791 yards. He'd have to pick up 219 yards in the next 2 games. That's a lot of yards, dude, especially in big games. I like the fact that B-Rob's healthy and ready to run. Yeah. I've said this before. I don't like seeing injured players, but seeing injured players is part of the game. Pickens will dress against Wolverine, so will Gunnar Stockton. So will JT Daniels. That's all we have to do. We rarely kill shot down the field. UF game wasn't about it. Georgia's got a lot of work. I mean, I don't know that JT Daniels is going to play in this game, and unless Stetson gets hurt or gets sick, and I don't wish for that to happen to anybody. So, you got to support the guy that's in there, but at the same time, man, it's like you see some of these mistakes made. It gets exacerbated. Somebody just said Oklahoma smoking Oregon. Woo, 23-3. Oh, that's brutal. And it's still the second quarter. Oh my Lord Jesus. Oh my Lord. OU 12 for 16 passing. Brooks got nearly 82 yards. Got nearly 83 yards on 8 carries. He might have a 200-yard game. Good Lord. Somebody come get him. I said I'm undefeated on today's picks. Lost every game yesterday. That's how it goes, man. What's up, 225 girl? No, Kirby put that to rest. Bennett is a quarterback. Yeah, he's both him and Todd Monken have flat out said it. Is Lanning there? Lanning is there. Lanning's going to be doing the on-field calls. Says Tess throws 2 interceptions in this game. I'm calling Brett for a bid. I hear you. Bennett came from Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. Never gets old. Chad Etheridge says, Chad, just out of curiosity, did we go to school together? There was a Chad Etheridge I went to school with. Michigan will lose against Georgia. Going to run the ball down their throat. That might be the case. What's up, Booty Sniper? Oh, man. Killing me, dude. It's starting to thunder outside here, man. See if I can find this. Hold on 1 second.
We should file a claim.
Stand by. Stand by. Well, it was in Sylvester. Trying to find something right now.
Hello? I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call her.
Yes, sir. Wish I was a little bit taller. Couldn't even get 2 field goals against Clemson. That's doo-doo. Sir, that was so far in the past, I don't even know how we're talking about it. That's almost as far back as 1980. Virus acting like a transformer. So we beat Clemson. What's your point? Stetson Bennett's theme song. That's classic. That is classic. What's the line on the game right now? I thought it had moved a little bit earlier. I thought the line had moved a little bit. I thought Alabama was like 13. It was just 13. I have to check that real quick. No. Let's see. Let's check out Odds Shark, whatever that is. They're predicting the score. They're giving Alabama a 13.5-point favorite. So right now on my bookie, it's 14. Bet online is 13.5. Over under is 57.5. Best under is 58. I don't know. And there's tons of different things here you can look at. But yeah, these teams have never played each other too. So I mean, there's a lot of interesting things that are going on right now with that. UM playing with house money for sure. Bama will cover. That's certainly possible. Hope was hilarious. I have not seen it yet. I've been so busy. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, really what we're talking about here is Cincinnati is a completely different team than what Georgia is. They play differently, have better secondary. I think their quarterback's way better than what Georgia has, and I think that may be something that Alabama has to contend with. We'll see what happens. Yo, let me buy that Georgia light up from you. So this light, which I don't know what color it appears on your screen because mine filters out certain colors, it's actually red. I think it looks white, but it's actually red. And all that is, and you can see the little white cord right here. That little white cord actually comes down, goes behind that, and plugs into the light strip like right there. And then I just wrapped it around the G. I cut out the Georgia G and the oval myself. I cut out 2. I gave one to my cousin Keith, and I kept the other and put them up there. Oklahoma scored again. Dang. What's Georgia's best win this year? Asking for a friend. So far, the recruiting class. Clemson was a good win, but we were playing with a hurt quarterback, but we still won the game. Brooks, 10 carries, 127 yards. That guy's having a game, son. Venerable shipped his new defense playbook to Stoops, so Oklahoma would have a defense this game. Oh man. Yeah. But this right here, this is not, believe it or not, this isn't that hard to make. I made that with probably a piece of 3 foot by about 2.5 foot ply, like cabinet grade ply. You can buy it at Home Depot. Printed out that image using the poster setting on a printer so that you get all the different pages. Laid them on top, traced them out on the wood, cut it out with a jigsaw, sanded it down, painted it, drilled a couple holes in the back, hung it on a wall. You buy that in the store, things like $100. Make it yourself, cost you about 20. Can't be talking about Clemson when you just said that was like 1980. I wasn't talking about him. Somebody else was. Texas Rock says, "Oh, you still sucks." They would spank y'all right now if they played, so I'd be careful. Averaging 9 points per game, including Bama. Can any of their teams say that? No, they can't. All right, guys. Well, it's been about an hour, maybe a little bit longer. My voice is like just giving up. 30-3. Good Lord. Oklahoma going right down the field again. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Kennedy Brooks. Killing it. Man, go watch this OU game. You have a lot of OU fans that follow you. I didn't know that. I probably do, though. Make you one? Come on, K-Dog. I got so much other stuff I got to do first before I start making them things. We'll see. All right, guys. I really appreciate all the Michigan fans that have started joining the chat. We do a lot of trash talk here. We try to keep it above the belt. We like, sharp sticks one another a little bit, have a little fun. It's what makes it interesting. I appreciate you guys being around. You guys are good sports. I appreciate that. To all you guys in the chat here, let's go ahead and do some shout outs real quick. Thank you guys for being here. If you want me to call out your name, now's a good time to get in the chat section. Pastor Dave, what's going on, sir? Thank you for being here, one of our resident members. Glad to see you here, sir. Texas Rocks, thank you so much. The Green Soldier, Brian W., Daniel Rivera. P Digits, we saw TikTok Chess Hall earlier. Keith Shelley as well. Booty Sniper, thank you for that super chat earlier, sir. D Brown, resident troll, appreciate you, sir. Thanks for being here. Barry Watkins, thank you, sir. Iron Mike Tyson, I didn't see you in here until just now. I apologize, I missed your chat, sir. K Dog, Michael Wayne, Michael Hogue. Who else we got in here? I saw Pizza Woman earlier. Sarah Crane, how you doing? Friction Vixen, oh my goodness. She says, I finally got to experience the joy you feel cooking on a Blackstone. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Yes, it is. Bread Pit, how you doing? Rack Dog was in here earlier. Chad Etheridge, how you doing, sir? Isify, good to see you again. Jay Shipes, Breakthrough, Made in the USA. Nate the Great was here earlier as well. Bobby Sprinkle, thank you so much for the comment. Good to see you too. Jeff Stapleton, Bulldog JC, Bama. I saw Crimson Brave. There was a few others in here, and if I missed your name, guys, I apologize. I'll get you next time. What else? I think that's pretty much everybody. I did pretty good. I remember Shabazz. Shaboy. It's Shaboy. Shabazz. Yes, sir. Barry Watkins. Yes, sir. Not Just Rocks. That was the other one I was thinking of in 225 Girl. Really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on all the channels. Go over and check out Mark Rogers TV. Great people over there. They put in some great work. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. And as usual, God bless. Go Dogs.